The story begins as we go back 200 years. Joseon, Korea. A priest is mid-prayer, warning his congregation about evil spirits. The words are barely out of his mouth before the candles blow out. A man appears from nowhere, calm, unbothered, almost bored. He finds a starving fisherman at the water's edge, desperate, thin, days away from death, and he makes him an offer. 10 years of wealth. 10 years of never going hungry again. The price? Simple. At the end of those 10 years, your soul belongs to me. And where does it go? He smiles. You humans call it hell. The fisherman about it for exactly 2 seconds, looks down at his own starving body, and signs the contract in his own blood. His name is Park Bok-gyu. And that small desperate choice beside the water, it will echo for the next 2 centuries. Fast forward. Seoul 2023. A room full of powerful people in expensive suits. And walking into that room like she owns the air inside it. Do-hee, CEO of Myray F&B Instagram sensation, the woman they call the devil in hair mess. She is sharp, controlled, and completely allergic to weakness. She just won CEO of the Year. And before the applause has even faded, she's already hunting down whoever planted a damaging article about her company. Because Do-hee doesn't rest. She doesn't trust easily. And she has every reason not to. She lost her parents at 11 years old. She was raised by the chairwoman of Myray Group, a woman called Madame Ju. A woman powerful enough that people literally call her the Almighty. Madame Ju loves Do-hee. In her own sharp, impossible way. She sets her to get married. She wants her to stop being alone. And so she does what powerful women do. She engineers a blind date. Without asking, the man waiting at that restaurant? He is no ordinary date. His name is Jong Gu-won, director of the Sunwol Foundation. Publicly respected, privately untouchable. He booked the entire restaurant for a quiet meal. He is reading a print newspaper like it's 1987. And when Do-hee sits across from him, he doesn't even look up properly. He tells her all human beings are insignificant to him. She tells him she's married to her work. He says he'd rather have her bank account swirled than her life story. Neither of them wants to be there. And somehow that makes the tension between them unbearable to watch. But here's what Do-hee doesn't know yet. Gu-won isn't being arrogant. He's being honest, because he really does find humans insignificant. He has watched them for 200 years. He is the demon from the river, still here, still making deals, still collecting what's owed. And that fisherman from 200 years ago, Park Bok-gyu, he's still alive too. Still working for the demon who took his soul. Because some debts have no expiry date, the date ends. Both of them walk away, pretending they feel nothing. But Do-hee is touching up her lipstick when she thinks no one is watching. And Gu-won, the demon who claims to feel nothing? He admits, quietly, almost to himself, no other human has ever made me this nervous. Then the night turns dark. Do-hee is alone on a coastal road. A man approaches, and then another. The situation moves fast, too fast, a blade, a threat, real danger, and then he appears, Gu-won right there in the dark. Do-hee's mind races. Is he with them, against them? She can't tell. She doesn't know what he is. She asks him for help. He says he can help her, but nothing is free, not even tonight. Make a deal with me. She says yes, and in that moment something shifts. Something moves between them. A tattoo that lived on his hand for 200 years disappears from his skin and reappears on hers. He is 200 years old. He has never lost anything. Not his power, not his control, not his purpose. Until last night. Do-hee opens her eyes, white ceiling, hospital walls. Someone hovering too close. She asks if she's still in her nightmare, and honestly, she might be. Gu-won is sitting there beside her. He tells her he had her brought to the hospital. He's being polite, careful, almost gentle, which is how she knows something is very wrong. This is not a gentle man. She spots the tattoo on her wrist. She calls it a tacky sticker. She reaches for it. He grabs her hand so fast it shocks them both. Don't, you might ruin it. She pulls, he holds, she threatens, he doesn't move. This is a man who has made deals with desperate humans for 2 centuries. And right now, he is desperate. That tells you everything. Back at his office, the truth is worse than he thought. His assistant finds a very old document, something between a contract and a warning. It says that a demon who fails to make new deals or misses an expiration date will spontaneously combust. Burn away, from the inside, just like that. His tattoo is his power is his survival, and right now, both of them are sitting on a stranger's wrist. A stranger who just threatened to laser it off. He still has a contract to honor today, a soul to collect. So he goes, powerless, exposed, and running on 200 years of confidence alone. And when the contract holder tries to use a small army to escape him, Gu-won handles it, barely, differently, with effort. Something he's never had to spend before. Meanwhile, Do-hee is already back in the war. Her company lost 260 billion won overnight. One planted article, one enemy moving in the shadows. Narrated by she traces it back to No Soo-an, Madame Ju's own daughter. The family is already eating itself alive. And the throne of Myray Group, hasn't even been announced yet. Do-hee goes to see Madame Ju. She tries to ask, carefully, if the chairwoman is hiding something. Madame Ju smiles and says she has lies flowing through her veins instead of blood. She says it like a joke. Do-hee laughs it off. But the camera lingers just a second too long on Madame Ju's face. There is something there. Something old and heavy. And Do-hee missed it completely. Then a man named Cha Tae-jun surfaces. He has information, he says. Information powerful enough to make Do-hee the chairwoman of Myrae Group. He wants a meeting. He wants money. He wants to trade. Before Do-hee can decide what to do with him, he is found dead, hanging in a public bathroom. Case closed before it was ever opened. Someone is cleaning up loose ends, and they're doing it fast. On the other side of the city, Goo-won calls her. He claims he is unwell, that his symptoms are serious, that only she can fix it. Do-hee doesn't believe a word of it, but she shows up anyway. And that says more than she knows. He takes her to the river. The Han River at night. Quiet, open, cold. He asks her to hold her breath. She thinks he's going to kiss her. He doesn't. He pushes her into the water. She comes up screaming. He watches, calm, calculating, testing something, checking whether proximity to her, or contact, or something between that transfer the tattoo back. It doesn't work. She stands there soaking wet, shaking with rage, and finally breaks. Not into tears, into honesty. She tells him she doesn't know who's trying to kill her. She doesn't know why. She's been nearly killed twice in 2 days. And she is exhausted from pretending she isn't scared. He watches her. Something shifts in him. Barely visible, but there. Later that night, Do-hee gets another threat. Real danger, close and personal, and Goo-won steps in front of it again, without a deal, without a contract, without his powers, just him. But the moment after, Do-hee smells something. Something burning, and Goo-won's sleeve is smoking it at the edges. The combustion has begun, and she looks at him differently this time. Not with suspicion. Not with irritation, with something closer to recognition. "What are you?" she asks it quietly. No anger, no performance, just the question. He looks at her for a long moment. 200 years of secrets, 200 years of never being truly seen, and he tells her the truth. "I'm a demon. You humans call me the devil." She doesn't scream, she doesn't run. She just stares, and somewhere in that silence, everything changes. The liquid on the ground was sulfuric acid, enough to melt a face, enough to kill, and it was meant for her. Someone wants Do-hee dead, not scared, not warned, dead, and the terrifying part? She has absolutely no idea who. She knows she needs protection, and she knows exactly who has the power to give it. So she goes to him with the most practical proposal she can think of. Be her bodyguard, stay close, use his powers, keep her alive. He says no, firmly, immediately, absolutely not. A demon does not protect insignificant humans, that is not what he was made for. And then he shows up at her door the next morning and says he changed his mind. Just like that. No explanation, no real reason given, just he changed his mind. But here is what Do-hee doesn't know yet. He is burning away from the inside out, and the only thing keeping him alive is staying close to the woman who carries his tattoo. He didn't change his mind out of kindness. He changed it to survive. He takes her to his work first, a rooftop. High above the city, he spots a target, a father crouched in a hospital corridor begging the universe for one more day with his dying daughter. Goo-won approaches and makes the offer, 10 years of life for the child. In exchange, the father's soul goes to hell afterward. The father doesn't hesitate for a single second. "I would go to worse places than hell if it would stop her suffering." He signs. The little girl sits up in her hospital bed. Color floods back into her face. She runs down the corridor and crashes into her mother's arms. It is beautiful and devastating at the same time. Do-hee watches all of it, and she does not celebrate with him. She asks the question no one ever asks him. Will she ever really be happy, knowing she survived at the cost of someone she loves? Goo-won goes quiet, 200 years of deals. And no one has ever put it to him like that. She walks away from him, fires him on the spot, says she refuses to exploit others' misfortune, even to save her own life. He watches her go. Something flickers across his face, something that has no name in his 200-year vocabulary. Then her phone rings. It's a message from Madame Ju. 5 words. "This is it for me. I love you, Do-hee." Do-hee stares at the screen. She tries to call back. No answer. She turns the car around. She finds Madame Ju on the ground, unresponsive, still. And Do-hee, the woman who never breaks, never begs, never bends, falls to her knees and screams for Goo-won to save her. "I'll sign a contract, whatever you want. Just please save her." He looks at her, and for the first time in 2 centuries, he says he cannot. He cannot bring back the dead. That is the one deal even a demon cannot make. Madame Ju is gone. The woman who raised her, who fought her, who loved her in the most impossible, infuriating way, gone without a proper goodbye, gone with a 5-word text message. But the story doesn't stop there. Because the detective pulls the family aside. The medication Madame Ju took that day? It was mislabeled. The contents didn't match the bottle. She was severely allergic to what was inside. This was not a heart attack. This was not an accident. This was murder. The family moves fast to bury it. Call it medical negligence. Keep it quiet. Protect the stock price. Protect the succession. They are already dividing the kingdom before the body is cold. And then the will is read. In front of all of them. In front of the children who resented her, the nephew who quietly waited, the daughter-in-law who performed grief like a stage role. Madame Ju left everything, the management rights, all the shares, the entire Miri group, to Do-hee, the orphan, the outsider, the one they called vulgar, with one condition. Do-hee must be married within 1 year, or everything goes to a welfare foundation, every last thing. The room explodes. Do-hee doesn't flinch. She stands in the middle of it all. Grief, fury, betrayal swirling around her, and looks at Gu-won across the room, and she makes a decision. Madame Ju was murdered. She says it out loud, in front of the family, without flinching. And I'm going to find out who did it, even if I have to join hands with a demon. Then she turns to Gu-won. And she says the 2 words that change everything. Marry me. She proposed to a demon, in front of a room full of people who want her dead, and he said no, twice in the same day. But here is the thing about Do-hee. She doesn't fall apart, she recalibrates. And right now, everything around her is rearranging itself into something far more dangerous than before. The family is already in motion. Madame Ju isn't even buried yet, and her children are already strategizing, already counting assets, already looking for legal cracks in the will. Alzheimer's, mental incompetence. Anything to overturn it. Nothing works. Madame Ju was thorough even in death, but the letter she left Do-hee tells a different story. Not a battle plan, not legal instructions. Something quieter and much harder to read. Madame Ju writes that she was surrounded by rotten people her entire life, that she felt like a failure despite everything she built, that the loneliness nearly swallowed her whole. And she couldn't bear the thought of Do-hee inheriting that same emptiness along with the throne. That's why the marriage condition exists. Not to control her, to protect her. If you can't find someone to stand beside you, throw this position to the wolves and save yourself. That was Madame Ju's final wish. Not power, not legacy. Just don't be alone. Do-hee reads it once, folds it carefully, and gets back to work, because that is who she is. She doesn't grieve, she moves. And right now she has CCTV footage to go through, a murderer to find, and a demon to keep useful. Meanwhile, Gu-won has a problem he didn't see coming. Without his powers, his human memories are returning, flashes of a past life. A name, Yi-sun, a nobleman from Joseon maybe, he doesn't know yet. But more pressing than the memories, he is aging. A demon without his tattoo is essentially a man, mortal, fragile, running out of time. 200 years of perfect, untouched existence, and now he is checking his face in mirrors like everyone else. He needs the tattoo back. He needs to stay close to Do-hee to slow the combustion, and he needs his powers to find the man who tried to kill her. 3 problems. 1 solution, her wrist. So he reaches for it, casually, almost tenderly, and tells her holding it gives him peace of mind. She pulls away and tells him she is not a wireless charger. He tells her she treats him like a Pokemon. She says demon, Pokemon, same difference. He tries to use what little power remains to locate the man who attacked her. He focuses, he reaches. Nothing. The man's face won't surface, as if something is deliberately blocking him, which means whoever is behind the attacks isn't just dangerous. They know things they shouldn't. Then comes the company dinner. Low lighting, cold beer, colleagues getting comfortable. Someone asks Gu-won directly, why did he turn her down? He says he likes her. The table goes quiet. Then he adds, people who like pork don't marry pigs. The table erupts, and Do-hee sits there in the noise, pretending the first part didn't register. But it did. He said he likes her. And he said it like he didn't even notice he said it. He steps outside. The confrontation is fast and ugly. Gu-won handles it, barely, differently, with effort he shouldn't need to spend. But before it ends, the man says something. Say hi to the boss for me. And then he's gone. There is a boss. Someone above the attacker. Someone who gives orders. And whoever that is, they are still watching. Do-hee shows up in the middle of it. No weapon, no backup, no plan. She plants herself between Gu-won and a group of armed men and announces, with total seriousness, I'm my bodyguard's bodyguard. It is absurd, it is reckless, and it stops Gu-won cold. The fight that follows is different from anything before, because this time Do-hee is in the middle of it. And this time, something cracks open in Gu-won. Not his powers, not his strategy. Something older and harder to name. When it's over and the danger has passed, he looks at her for a long moment. She stepped into danger for him, not because she had to, not as part of any deal. Just because he was there and she came. And later, alone, he says it out loud to no one, just to hear how it sounds. Something's wrong with me. Falling for a worthless human being. He says it like a diagnosis, like something to be corrected. But the fact that he says it at all means it's already too late. There is a rule for bodyguards: never let her out of your sight, never stray too far, and never, under any circumstances, fall in love with her. He has broken all three, not dramatically. Not all at once, quietly, accidentally, the way the most dangerous things always begin. He called love a weakness, said it made foolish humans even more foolish, said sweet things were always bad for you. Happiness most of all, and Do-hee, who prides herself on feeling nothing, felt it, every second of it. She tells herself she doesn't care, she schedules a blind date. She lists all the reasons his coldness means nothing to her, and then she cancels everything and shows up at his building at night just to check if the lights are on. She has a plan, a clean, logical test. If he has feelings for her, his face will show it the second he sees her. You can't fake that first flicker, she'll know instantly. 1 second, that's all she needs. What she doesn't expect is the woman already inside, confident, comfortable, calling him babe, telling him to stop letting women cling to him. And Goo-won, the demon who claims to feel nothing, says nothing to correct her. Do-hee walks out, spine straight, face unreadable. She tells him she was clearly mistaken. He watches her go. And then, the moment she's out of earshot, tells his assistant to make sure she gets home safe. He can't even let her leave without watching over her. He just can't say it to her face. But here is what's really happening beneath all of it. Goo-won is scared, not of the man still hunting Do-hee, not of the spontaneous combustion slowly burning through him. He is scared of what he felt when she showed up, hurt the night of the fight. He is scared of how his chest tightened when that prosecutor leaned toward her at dinner. He is scared of the word that's forming quietly in his chest, like a fire that hasn't been named yet. Meanwhile, the political war inside Mirai Group moves fast. No Suk-min is voted in as acting chairman, 16 votes in favor, 2 against. The board has chosen its side, and those who hesitated? Suk-min already has evidence of money they accepted from a subcontractor. He handed them the rope, he waited for them to use it, and now he holds it. Do-hee sits through the vote, with a still face. She already knew. What she doesn't know is how deep the corruption goes. Seok-hoon is digging through financial statements and finds something buried 2 years back. A ship purchased at a massively inflated price from a firm that no longer exists. Accounting fraud. Deliberate, careful, someone built this trap a long time ago. Then comes the prosecutor. Charming, strategic, annoyingly good at reading a room. He sits across from Do-hee at a restaurant table, orders lobster, pours wine she didn't ask for, and makes it very clear he wants in, not just into the case, into her life. Goo-won watches from across the table, silent, still. And Do-hee, who has been pretending not to notice him all day, turns to the prosecutor mid-lunch and says, "Let's register our marriage today." The prosecutor agrees immediately, and something in him cracks, not dramatically, not loudly, just quietly, privately, irreversibly. He stops her, not with logic, not with the tattoo or the deal or the full moon. He stops her with the truth, pulled out of him like something that had been lodged too deep for too long. "You're my problem," he says it quietly, almost angry at himself for saying it. "My life was perfect until I met you, but it's become a mess since you came into my life." He is 200 years old. He has made deals with desperate humans across centuries, and this is the first time he has ever admitted that someone got to him. Then the night turns violent again. The attacker appears, not in a dark alley this time, but close, too close. Do-hee nearly dies. Not almost, nearly, the kind of close that leaves a mark you carry for the rest of your life. Gets there in time, but just barely. Before we go further, if you've made it this far, you already know this story has you. Don't lose the next episode to the algorithm. Subscribe to K-Drama Recap Planet now, and hit the bell so when the next recap drops, you're the first to know. It takes 2 seconds. Do it now while the story's still pulling you in. Now, back to where we were. In the quiet aftermath, sitting in the dark and still shaking, Do-hee says something she has never said out loud before. That for the first time she truly understood what it felt like to die. Not the idea of it, the reality. The world disappearing beneath you, being completely, utterly alone. And worse than the terror of falling, the realization that the attacker keeps changing his face. The driver, the man at the railing, different faces, same scratches on the neck, one person, many disguises, which means anyone around her could be him. The security guard she said good morning to. The colleague she passed in the hall. Anyone. Goo-won hears all of this, and then he does something completely out of character. He proposes to her, no contract language, no power calculation. "You don't have to be all alone. How about you marry me instead?" It is the first time in 200 years that he has offered something without asking for anything back first. She asks for time to think, which means she's already thinking yes, because Do-hee doesn't hesitate unless the answer already scares her. Meanwhile, Seok-hoon shows up at her door with flowers. No grand declaration, just quiet sincerity. He tells her his heart dropped the moment he heard she went on a blind date, that he realized his feelings had shifted, that if marriage is what she needs, they can start as family and figure out the rest later. He can wait. Goo-won watches from a distance, Seok-hoon, flowers. Do-hee laughing softly at something he says. And for the first time in his 200-year existence, the demon experiences something he cannot name, cannot reason away, cannot file under deal or transaction. His assistant asks if he's getting jealous. He says he's never understood jealousy, and then goes very quiet. Because it was in that moment he realized he no longer understood himself. She chooses him, not Seok-hoon, not the prosecutor, the demon, and when he asks her why, the same question everyone keeps asking, she gives him the same answer he once gave her. Just because I don't want you to die. His own words return to him, and they hit harder the second time around. The wedding is fast. A real ceremony, flowers, an efficient, guests in rows. But before the vows are even finished, Goo-won produces a contract. Printed, signed, clauses, and all. Appear as an ideal couple in public. Respect boundaries in private. Cooperate to achieve their goals. Contract expires when both parties are done. A demon doing what a demon does best, turning every human moment into a transaction. But his hands are not quite steady when he holds the paper. The efficient ends with a customary line. The couple will walk side by side for the rest of their lives. Goo-won stops mid-aisle. Raises his hand, interrupts the ceremony, makes the efficient remove that line from the script. The rest of my life is extremely long. The guests laugh nervously. Do-hee stares at him. And somewhere beneath the absurdity of the moment, she understands something she isn't ready to say yet. They move in together, his things into her space, her rules into his existence. She gives him a list. He ignores it. She tells him to clean up. He tells her he's her husband, not her slave. Two people who have lived alone their entire lives suddenly sharing walls, mornings, and silences. And that first night, standing in the hallway outside their separate rooms, both of them freshly washed, the apartment quiet for the first time all day, they say goodnight, his voice first. Good night, Do-hee. Then hers, good night, Jong-goo-won. 2 sentences, nothing more. But the way they're said, soft, careful, almost careful not to mean too much, says everything. He dreams again that night, a courtyard, a tutor arriving, a name everyone called him, Yi-sun. The human he was before he became a demon. The memories are coming faster now, clearer. And something about them feels connected to the present in a way he hasn't figured out yet. By morning, they are tailing No Do-gyung through the subway. Disguises on, coffees in hand, bickering quietly. Two people playing detective who are also technically married. When his powers flicker near her, he blames her for it. She blames him back. Neither of them mentions that this is what marriage looks like from the inside. They both know this marriage has an expiry date. They both signed the contract. But contracts have a way of becoming something else entirely when the people inside them stop following the terms. Someone is reading the demon manual. The one Goo-won has kept hidden for 200 years, the one that lists every power he has and every limitation. It is gone from the shelf. And somewhere out there, someone now knows exactly how to kill him. Marriage, it turns out, is its own kind of warfare. Goo-won moves in with a truckload of possessions, clocks, artifacts, books, objects he calls extensions of himself. Do-hee tells him to get rid of them, refuses. She threatens to leave. He tells her she's living in a place smaller than a car. And somehow, in the middle of all the noise, they are building something neither of them has a word for yet. But the real battle isn't inside the apartment, it's outside. Someone has taken a photo from the 1977 construction ceremony of Sunwol Theatre. And the man standing in that old photograph looks exactly like Jong Goo-won. Not a resemblance, not a coincidence, identical, Seok-hoon noticed. And now he is asking questions that have no safe answers. Goo-won, for his part, is unraveling quietly from the inside. Seok-hoon sits across from Goo-won and says it plainly. He doesn't trust him, he will watch him. And if he becomes a threat to Do-hee, he will dig out every secret and expose it to the world. Goo-won listens to the whole speech and tells him he isn't scary at all. Seok-hoon agrees he's not scary, he's persistent. One termite, he says, can collapse an entire house. Goo-won walks away calling it fan behavior, but later alone he tells his assistant, Seok-hoon is a problem. Meanwhile, the fake news is spreading fast. Headlines everywhere. Did Do-hee murder Madame Ju for the inheritance? The will was edited on the day of Madame Ju's death. The body was cremated. Evidence destroyed. Every fact is real. But every conclusion drawn from those facts is a lie, crafted carefully, planted deliberately. Someone built this story long before they needed it. Do-hee traces the fake news back to its source. She doesn't send lawyers. She goes herself. She confronts No Suk-min directly, quiet, controlled, asking the one question no one else dares to ask. Was it really a drunken mistake when he ran that person over 12 years ago, or did he press the pedal on purpose? His answer comes in the form of a gunshot, from behind, at her. Goo-won pulls her clear just in time. But the line has been crossed now. This is no longer corporate warfare. This is something much older and much uglier. And then the demon manual surfaces again, but not in Goo-won's hands. Someone else has it, someone who has read the one line that changes everything. He cannot kill the living. He cannot bring back the dead. Upon breaking this rule, he perishes through spontaneous combustion, and the next line, the one that seals his fate. He was human until Do-hee showed up. He can't kill you, but you can kill him. Whoever holds that book now has a map to ending a demon. Do-hee is arrested, handcuffed and led out while flashbulbs fire around her, suspected of murdering chairwoman Joo Cheon-suk. Sukmin knows there's no evidence. That's not the point. He just needs the headline. CEO arrested, candidacy denied, kingdom secured. It takes one morning of bad news to undo everything Do-hee has built. Inside the interrogation room, she stays calm. She knows they can only hold her 48 hours without hard evidence. She knows this is theatre, just like the attack on the railing was theatre. She is learning the shape of her enemy's mind. And she doesn't break. But outside, something goes wrong. Goo-won is stabbed, not by the disguised attacker, not by Sukmin's hired hands, someone who knew exactly where to find him. Someone who had read about his limitations. Someone who knew that without his tattoo, he can bleed like anyone else. Do-hee gets word inside the interrogation room. She doesn't scream. She doesn't collapse. She asks quietly, barely holding herself together, to be allowed to see him. Please let me go see him. 3 words from a woman who never asks for anything. And then the thing she has been refusing to admit since episode 1 comes out in how desperately she says them. She held his hand in that hospital corridor and pushed every bit of herself into keeping him alive. The charging worked, barely, halfway, enough to pull him back from the edge. But someone was watching, and they said it quietly, almost tenderly. She doesn't know how that will come to threaten her own life. Poor thing, he wakes up, complaining about the water temperature, demanding a straw, ordering people around like the nobleman he probably was 2 centuries ago. It's infuriating, it's familiar, it's the most relieved Do-hee has felt in days. But the relief doesn't last, because healing a demon with human hands has a cost she hasn't been told about yet, and the people around her are already calculating it. Star-jin shows up. No warmth, no pretense. She sits across from Do-hee and says exactly what she means. Stop exploiting him. He almost died because of you. Let him go before you get him killed. Do-hee listens to every word without flinching. She doesn't argue. She doesn't defend herself. And that silence is far more telling than any answer she could have given. Goo-won had a dream while recovering, flames. His whole body on fire, fingertips burning first. He woke up shaking in a way demons are not supposed to shake. He asks his assistant quietly if this is what humans call fear. His assistant doesn't answer. He doesn't need to. Star-jin finds Goo-won alone and says the thing everyone else has been dancing around. Do-hee is the reason his powers are weakening. Every human emotion he feels because of her, guilt, compassion, jealousy, is pulling him further from what he is and closer to what he used to be. You're in love with her. She says it like a diagnosis, like a death sentence. Nothing is more human than loving someone. Goo-won tells her to stop. She tells him he needs to stop first. If he keeps going down this road, it won't end well. For either of them. Do-hee walks into the board meeting and withdraws her candidacy, no warning, no strategy announced. Just, she's done. She renounces the inheritance, the position, the fight. Sukmin smiles. His family toasts too early. The board accepts it without question, but Goo-won doesn't accept it. He finds Do-hee standing and asks why. She looks at him and says the cruelest thing she could possibly say. You can no longer protect me. You've become so weak you can't even protect yourself. She says it cleanly, coldly, like she rehearsed it, like she knew it would work. And it does work. He goes quiet. He leaves. What he doesn't know, what Seok-hoon has to tell him later, furious, is that she said it to protect him. She gave up everything she was fighting for so he would stop standing in the line of fire. She didn't want to lose another person she loved. She already lost her parents, Madame Ju. She was not going to lose him too. So she pushed him away instead. He finds her in the greenhouse again. This time, he doesn't ask questions. He already knows the answer. He stands in front of her and says the thing that 200 years of being a demon never once prepared him to say. Even if my feelings for you make me insignificant and weak, you are my fate that I cannot defy. What's best for you has become what's best for me. I'm not giving up on Do-hee no matter what. There it is. No contract, no deal, no full moon calculation. Just a demon standing in a dead garden, telling a woman he would rather be weak and with her than powerful, and without her, the apex predator. The being who spent 2 centuries above it all, brought completely to his knees by a woman who was trying to save him by letting him go. And that is where the first part of this story ends. If this series moved you, if you stayed through every episode, every betrayal, every sacrifice, every impossible choice, then you already know what this channel is about. We don't just recap dramas, we tell the stories inside the story. The ones that stay with you long after the credits roll. If that's what you came for, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you never miss a drop. And share this series with someone who deserves a great story. Thank you for watching every episode. Thank you for staying until the end. Same fate. Different story. See you in part 2. Bye guys.